Welcome to CPAC Now, America Uncanceled. I'm Mercedes Schlapp, and joining me today, a friend of CPAC's and someone who I just follow her work so closely, Julie Kelly, independent journalist for Substack and Real Clear Investigations. Julie, thank you for joining me.
Hey, Mercedes. Thanks so much for having me on.
Let's just jump right in, okay? Because I think you broke the story about the FBI authorizing the use of deadly force during the Mar-a-Lago raid. I think it left the vast majority of us shocked. But there's a number of people saying that this is standard operating procedure. How is this different? Why is this a problem?
Because the suspect was the former president of the United States. This is unprecedented. It's uncharted territory. Anyone who argues that this is standard operating procedure, including the FBI, who came out with a statement several hours after I posted these documents that had been unsealed in the classified documents case. I was waiting for this motion to post, and then I saw this exhibit, which is this FBI operations order. This is uncharted territory. There's no precedent for this, Mercedes. So anyone who says this is normal, including Christopher Wray, is lying, because this is not a normal suspect. Yeah. He is the former president. He is protected under specific federal law that relates to former presidents and protectees of the United States Secret Service, which he was. So this raises a lot more questions than just the easy answer we're getting from the National Review crowd, which is, oh, this is standard protocol, and no one should be concerned that 30 FBI agents at Mar-a-Lago had authority to use lethal force if necessary.
So let me get this straight. You're saying that there are conservative writers in in National Review basically saying, oh, this is fine. This is standard operating procedure, not raising a red flag here?
No, not at all. You have National Review editors and writer, legal analyst Andrew McCarthy, Fox News contributor, who posted making fun of this, a lethal farce. He misrepresented, of course, all of the elements of the classified documents case and the raid because he hasn't followed it.
Right.
But then downplays and almost mocks the idea that this could have represented really a dangerous situation, not just for Donald Trump or Melania Trump or Barron Trump if they would have arrived at Mar-a-Lago during this 9-hour raid, which was very conceivable.
Yes.
But a blue-on-blue situation, as Dan Bongino has said, between U.S. Secret Service, who are they are obligated to protect people under their protection, and FBI agents who are executing this unnecessary armed raid, who, by the way, Mercedes, these FBI agents weren't even identified by their clothing or badges as FBI agents. They were told to wear regular clothes and not bring their badges, yet they were armed.
Unreal. And in addition to that, they had lock-picking equipment. FBI agents were armed with, quote, standard issue weapon, ammo, and handcuffs, as well as medium and large size bolt cutters. And then they also included in the FBI team a medic to tend to anyone injured during the raid. Let's get this straight. These are documents. There's not like President Trump, basically with boxes of weapons. We're talking about documents. And yet you have the FBI agents with weapons and ammo and handcuffs. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is insane.
Well, Mercedes, here's again why we have to really commend Judge Aileen Cannon. The Biden regime, the DOJ and FBI never thought this document would see the light of day. They never thought that a federal judge, would have the guts and the courage to unseal all of the documents behind this dirty, corrupt, and sloppy investigation, prosecution, and of course the raid. So that's why when it was disclosed in materials that were filed by Donald Trump's lawyer this week, everyone went on defense, right? That this is normal, etc. So, but the real outrage for them, and we could talk about what I saw at the court hearing yesterday at Judge Aileen Cannon's courtroom, is the entire case is imploding. And it's imploding because of Jack Smith's corruption and sloppiness, quite frankly. And this is something that Judge Aileen Cannon wants exposed. And so, Jack Smith and his team are really on their heels in this case in Southern Florida.
You had a tweet out about, or a post out, next post out saying you spent most of the day at the Fort Pierce Federal Courthouse, covering the 2 hearings in the classified documents case. And there was definitely a sense of the special counsel team's frustration with Judge Eileen Cannon. Walk us through what you saw. What was happening? Why were they so just where they felt that the case was imploding?
So, I mean, it is imploding, and part of it is because Judge Cannon is unredacting and unsealing all of these materials, but she has also set out, Mercedes, what I have referred to, turning the tables on DOJ and Jack Smith and sort of putting Jack Smith on trial. So this was the first hearing yesterday, 2 defense motions to dismiss, one based on selective vindictive prosecution against one of Trump's co-defendants, and then another just based on what they called inappropriate or insufficient pleadings in the indictment, talking about how vague the indictment was to begin with. So they walk through all of these. But what happened yesterday morning, there's 2 lead prosecutors, Jay Bratt and David Harbach. Now, Bratt is he and Judge Cannon do not get along at all. And he is very disrespectful, very petty towards her. But David Harbach is usually kind of the cooler customer of the 2 representing Jack Smith's team. Well, yesterday, Mercedes, he just had one mini temper tantrum after another. He was pounding on the podium. He was like clapping his hands in anger as he was trying to emphasize a point. He was talking down to her. At one point, she looked at him and said, "I need to ask you to calm down." That is not something a federal judge usually has to tell a government lawyer.
Right.
He was really unhinged, and even ABC News called him emotional because this is going to be death by 1,000 cuts, not just the case, which is bogus to begin with, but exposing what happened behind the scenes that led up to the raid and then, of course, the indictments.
Well, and you got a sense that these prosecutors are just feeling the heat, the pressure of the fact that they were going to make their careers off of, taking Donald Trump down, and this is not happening. I do also have to wonder, how much do you think President Biden and his team, the White House counsel as well, which no one ever talks about the White House counsel, which is just shocking to me. Ed Siskel, what did they know about this raid?
Well, this is really why Jack Smith's team is melting down, because Judge Cannon has set 3 days of hearings, Mercedes, next month, June 24th, 5th, and 6th, where they are going to hold a public evidentiary hearing on this bombshell defense motion that was filed in January that accuses the Biden White House, including the general counsel, to your point, the National Archives, DOJ, and FBI, working together as early as the spring of 2021 to concoct some sort of documents case against Donald Trump. And what they're saying, Mercedes, the defendants, Trump and his 2 co-defendants, is that all of these entities should be considered part of the prosecution team. Therefore, compelling discovery, emails, communications, meetings. We've already discovered some of them. The defense team actually FOIA'd emails between the archives and Jonathan Sue, the deputy White House counsel, as they were conspiring behind the scenes to put this together. But if Judge Cannon, so compelling the discovery would be one thing. The hearings are going to be another. This is basically, as I said, a 3-day trial against DOJ and Jack Smith.
Right.
And the Biden White House.
Yeah.
Where the media is going to have to cover what is discussed in these hearings and the materials that the defense team has put together. So this poses, and she's going to keep continuing to unseal unredacted information. She's going to be scheduling more hearings. If Mercedes she sets a hearing on the motion that resulted in the disclosure of this FBI order, we're going to find out a lot.
Is there a possibility that the judge dismisses the case? I mean, what are the chances?
If anything, Mercedes, I think she would dismiss it based on selective prosecution.
Okay.
She's very heated up about the Robert Ford report and the fact that I was in the courthouse 2 days after his congressional testimony, and she brought it up numerous times, noting that this was unprecedented. Yet we have similar situation here. for president, former vice president who face charges. But in the interim, I think she is just going to torment Jack Smith's team, which is what we saw yesterday and continue to see. So let's just be gratified by that.
Let's go back to your Substack real quick, where literally there is this mention of this. I think people can. I think Americans have to really understand what we're dealing with. You write here, the FBI also considered various scenarios should the former president unexpectedly arrive at his residence during the raid. Agents were also prepared to go door to door to terrorize Mar-a-Lago guests if staff refused to turn over room keys. I mean, this is, again, like the FBI treating Donald Trump and his staff as criminals.
Exactly right. That's right. In referring to him twice in this operations order as POTUS. So it's not like they were just treating him like a normal suspect, or even Mr. Drug Dealer. They specifically identified him as the former president.
Yeah.
Which again speaks to the fact that this is not normal, right, because of dealing with the former president.
And let me ask you this. We know that I remember when the story came out, I believe it was in the New York Times, about that photo, the crime scene photo, right, of the Mar-a-Lago raid they literally displayed all the quote unquote classified, I mean, seriously, Julie. And they just not only leak it to the press, but it's just all set up. It's all set up to try to make Donald Trump guilty. I mean, is this something that we have seen coming from the FBI originally?
Well, I mean, the last time we fabricated evidence, of course, as you know, was FISA.
Yes, that is true.
Making application the Carter page was a Russian agent and using dirty political opposition research to back it up. But to your point, and this is what I reported, and this entire raid was a stunt. It was a stunt to make Donald Trump look like a criminal, that he was harboring top secret national security materials, nuclear secrets that he was going to share with our enemy. It was a stunt. But now we realize it could have been a dangerous stunt.
Yes.
Risk the lives of service agents, of staff at Mar-a-Lago, and guests at potentially the former president, Melania and Barron. Mercedes, this also was disclosed this week. FBI agents ransacked Melania's personal suite and Barron's bed. Right. This has kind of been rumored. People joking around about her underwear drawer. It was confirmed this week in more disclosures. What if Donald Trump had shown up, stood in front of his son's room, or his wife told the FBI, "You're not getting in here. You're not coming in here." And you have Secret Service sworn to protect the former president, and you have the FBI agents with this concocted warrant signed by a magistrate judge who also has compromised himself. Who wins? What happened? Are they going to put their hands on Donald Trump? Are they going to move? Are they going to arrest him? They can't. Against the law, you can't touch him. So this is again where this was headed. So it was stunt, which also involved the FBI bringing cover sheets, placing them on top of random files, taking a photograph to make it look like that's how they discovered those papers, not that they put it together. And then, of course, released to the media this court filing in Donald Trump's lawsuit after the raid.
And Judge Cannon also brought up the fact that that you saw this, or it was the defendant. I think the lawyers basically saying, "Look, you've seen the prosecutors, change the order of the files and the documents. Why do you think that happened?"
I mean, I guess you could say sloppiness, or it's very hard to think that anything coming out of the Washington field office is sloppy and not intentionally mischievous. But the bottom line, more problematic than just this evidence not being in sequence as it was taken from Mar-a-Lago, is that they lied to Judge Cannon. She directly asked Jay Braden last month. I was there. Judge Cannon asks a lot of questions that she already knows the answers to, because she wants it on record.
Yeah.
So she asked Jay Brad, is the evidence collected the files in the same sequence as after the raid? And he said yes, they were, except for these placeholder sheets that we used. They took a box, they allegedly found a document with classified markings, they took that out, the investigators. put a placeholder sheet in to indicate later this is where it was found. He said that's the only change. Well, that's not true because Jack Smith had to come back and tell Judge Cannon that Jay Bratt misrepresented the conditions of the evidence. There are hundreds of pages that are not in the right place.
Right.
Furthermore, he had to tell Judge Cannon that the classified document that was out of the box replaced with a placeholder. In some instances, they can't match up the document with the sheet.
Right.
How
Well,
can you move forward on this case?
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen time and time again, many of these legal scholars even say, look, they're using these novel legal theories to try to convict Donald Trump. I think the last question here is you bring up in one of the posts a very good question. Why did it take a federal judge to pry what you would say is this, the guidance on the raid when it came to possibly using deadly force? Why wasn't it released alongside Mar-a-Lago's search warrant? And why didn't FBI own this form from the start? When you've asked these multiple questions, do you have any more clarity after hearing what you've seen, during your time in the courtroom?
No, not on this. But I suspect we will. But why didn't we find out about this before? Why didn't Merrick Garland announce that he authorized the use of deadly force? Why have all the reporting that we've seen of the Mar-a-Lago raid have we never seen this? Because again, Biden DOJ never thought this document would see the light of day. They were convinced that it would remain under seal. And only but for Trump's attorneys and Judge Cannon who ultimately made the decision. We never would have seen it.
Well, Julie Kelly, I mean, your reporting is exceptional on this. Where can people find you?
Thanks, Mercedes. Thank you and Matt for all your support. My work at Substack Classified Kelly Real Investigations. And also, I post a lot on Twitter, Julie _ Kelly too.
Well, excellent reporting. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Mercedes.
And thank you all for watching. God bless.